It's 4 o'clock. I'll call the regularly scheduled meeting in the New Public Library Board on its regularly scheduled day, Thursday, February 11th at 4 o'clock. First, we'll ask, I think we have an item to add to the agenda under other business. That's what we talked about in the bylaws about getting rid of the Office of Treasurer or combining it with the Secretary office. So put that under other business. Is there any other business to be added to the agenda? Otherwise, I'll look for an approval of the agenda as it has been presented.
I will approve the agenda as presented.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? Otherwise, we'll call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign, it's passed. Next would be the approval of minutes from January 14.
I will make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
A motion's been approved made to approve the minutes as they've been written. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Just in case, I'll call if anybody's seen any correction or additions. Otherwise, I'll call the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? Carried. Now we'll go to the updated financial reports, and that would be Chris Wiley.
Thank you. 2015 begins on page 9. It's not finalized because the finance department is still making its final adjustments. So the big pieces of the puzzle are the under revenue, taxes, general, and there will be an adjustment made for the second half of taxes from the city. And then the major expense item that we're still waiting on is the contractual maintenance equipment. That's the Userful Public Computer Systems. That's a 3-year contract. This is the third and last year of the contract was in 2015. And so that all gets paid at once through the city, but then it's split out over 3 years to the library. So you'll see it's $5,490. And that will show up here in the next month or so. I'm hopeful that when I present the 2015 financials in March, it will be done and you will see all of those adjustments made.
Say that again, Chris. 54 or 64?
$5,490,
Okay.
right.
Yep.
On page 17 is the 2016 report. It's early, not terribly meaningful at this time. We're 9% through the year. And I'm sorry, it's supposed to be 9% through 2016. And our budget is approximately 6% expended. We will be spending a lot of our computer money here in the next couple of months to replace some equipment, including 3 staff machines at the main desk. I did talk to Finance Director Reg Vorwerk, who told me that last year you had approved up to $8,250 for the outdoor lighting project. $4,000 of that was paid in 2015. That was paid to the engineers, partial payment. The rest of it will be paid in 2016. He is going to add that money into our budget for 2016. And it doesn't appear in the financials this month, but I would imagine that will appear in March. So there will be up to $4,250 left on that project yet to spend this year. At least that's what you've approved, and that's for the design only. Mm-hmm. The design and the advertising for the bids. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Let's move on to the librarian's report. The first would be library department activities. This is page 25.
Story times are on break through February, although library aide Sue Otto did a fantastic job with bedtime story time. That was last night. And Carla Feld will return to her post as children's aide and resume story times March 7th. We will continue with bedtime story times in March and April. And as I mentioned, the 3 new computers at the service center, we're getting so much help from IT Supervisor Nate Barron here with the city. He's been here about 6 months now, and he's really helping us. All of our equipment seemed to fail at the end of the year. And so he's helping us replace a lot of that. We do have tax forms now. Federal tax forms are in. The 1040 1040A, 1040 Easy, including the instruction booklets. Minnesota is not sending any tax forms to us this year. We will make copies for folks, and there are signs posted as such, and we have several staff members who are able to do that and willing to do it anytime someone stops in and asks us. Quite a few forms, and not very much. That's all they're sending this year. No schedules. Every year they send less and less. Our reference librarian, Lisa Sieve, and our reference aide, Sue Ellery, are going to a seminar on the Electronic Library for Minnesota. That's our electronic database. It has articles, journals, databases, and that'll be at South Central College in North Mankato at the end of the month. And I want to congratulate Diane Pinker-Bernick, our library aide, who was recently honored for 30 years of service to the library. So we thank her for all she does. Are there any questions?
Just a couple comment. I like the couple of paper. Sue, you had one in the paper, or Mary, you had one in the paper, I think, about something, and then.
Oh, the articles.
The articles, and today's article I really thought was good.
Oh, good.
I thought that was
I'll
nice.
pass that along. We enjoy doing those.
You can tell.
Yeah.
We'll go on to programming then. It'll be Mary Brown.
Hello. The Life Living series concluded on Monday, February 1st with Gary Eichten, retired NPR host of Midday. The entire series was a great success. I think Marion was the only one who made it to all three. I mean, there were many other people who made it to all three, but of the board, Marion was the only one who made it to all three.
Definitely well worth it.
Good, yes. We had nothing but positive reviews about the entire series. People absolutely loved it. And of course, they're already asking what we're going to do for next year. So the heat is on to produce another great series for next year. The New Ulm Chamber of Commerce and the library have partnered up to present a 4-week series on starting running a small business. The final program will be Thursday, February 18th at 6 p.m. and will discuss the use of social media to promote a business. We've had very good success so far with 2 of the programs. The third one is tonight. We've had usually between 25, 27 people attending each of the programs. So there's a huge interest with people who either are currently running a small business and looking to see what resources are out there for them, or who are interested in running a small business and the resources that are available to them. But I've definitely been hearing lots of people interested in that social media one in particular, because more and more that is how people are communicating and learning about what's going on in the community. The Minnesota Valley Civil War Roundtable will meet on Tuesday, February 16th at 6:30 p.m. This month's topic is Lincoln's Pardon of the Dakota Warriors, and that will be presented by historian Bryce Stenzel. On Thursday, March 3rd at 6:30 p.m., Patrick Dwayne will provide an introduction to his multimedia one-man show, The Accidental Hero. The show chronicles Dwayne's grandfather's time as a World War II officer who miraculously liberated the Czech villages of his grandparents. And then this is a partnership with the Grand. They are the ones who are bringing him in. And on the following night, which will be Friday, March 4th, they're going to have a ticketed show. And that will be the entire show. This will be an introduction to the show, and we'll give Mr. Dwayne a chance to talk about the story itself. The New Ulm Film Society will start the new theme of Westerns on Tuesday, March 8th at 6 p.m. The first film is Shane. The Society meets the second Tuesday of the month, and each meeting includes a brief presentation on the significance of the movie, followed by a viewing and discussion of the film. And some of you were talking about which films are going to be shown. If you do have any questions or quibbles with the choices, I cannot help you with that. You would talk with the members of the New Ulm Film Society, which are Stephen Sherman and Jack Baranak. I help set up posters, the chairs, the video, audio, but I have nothing to do with the choices. So those are the members that you'll want to talk to about that. And they do have a Facebook page, so search for them. As always, all events can be found on the library website at www.newulmlibrary.org. And then just one final thing I want to mention. The library has partnered with United Way of the Brown County area to provide free tax preparation. The library is the space in which the tax preparation is, where that is happening, but we don't take any phone calls for scheduling, any questions about the program. The number to call to make an appointment, or if you have questions, is 507-286-8255. 217-3707, or you could call the United Way, and they can help you with that as well. And that runs through the first week of April. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Youth Services Librarian Recruitment, Chris Wiley.
There were no internal candidates, so it was posted externally. The posting closes tomorrow, and we'll be sorting through those with HR Director Shauna Boomgarden. We were wondering if a library board member would like to be on the interview panel. I know Marie has done that with us in the past, and we'd be happy to have a library board member join us.
I will do it again if no one else wants to.
Good idea.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me know.
I will. And you said not Mondays
I said Mondays and Tuesdays are best for me.
or best. Okay, Monday or Tuesday. And an update that we have had a library aide resign and we've had a library page resign. So we'll be doing recruitment for those positions as well.
Any questions? Otherwise, we'll go on to the outdoor lighting project update.
Thank you. We had another meeting with the engineering and design firm, INS, out of Mankato, and Vince was there, Mary was there, Elwood Zabel, our building official, and myself. I'm gonna move over so we can look at the picture. What you're seeing is, what you're seeing is the current design. We have 17 poles currently around the library building in the exterior lighting. In front of the Hall of Fame, there are 3, and I'm gonna go clockwise. There's 1. We have 2 right in front of the wooden doors in Broadway. 1 very close to Broadway, 1 right by the exit entrance on Broadway to the library. 2 that are facing the Methodist Church. This is a concrete bunker. Way out in the corner, very close to the new homeless shelter house, and then a little bit tighter in, closer to the library, there is 1 by the bunker, by the book drop. On each side, 1 is towards the parking lot, 1 is very close to that main door by the book drop. There's 1 by the emergency exit at the children's room. And then there's 1 at the entrance exit onto First North Street. And we have 2 lights that flank the former original library entrance on First North. So that's 17 poles. And we're getting rid of them. What you see on the next page is what they're installing, or what they intend to install. Down to 11 lights on 10 poles. And you can see these a lot better on your page than you could in the previous one. I will start, but in front of the Music Hall of Fame, there is 1 that's going to be in about the same location as a current light, but we're taking out those 3 globes that are right in a row. They've done their light testing, their scatter testing, and are telling us that this is sufficient to cover the space. This is an alcove to the west, I would say, of that light that I've just been discussing. That's the foyer that was built to combine the 2 buildings a number of years ago. There is a light and an emergency door and a light that is attached to the building. So we are getting light in that alcove as well. Going clockwise, the 2 lights that are flanking that wooden door, rather than being right in front of each other, they're going to be flanking the sidewalk, and these are the decorative lights.
Acorns?
Acorns, thank you. And I did give you a picture of the acorn lights. It does not have that frilly thing on the top. It's everything but that frilly piece that's on the top of it. The 3 poles along the Center Street side And you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, there will be 2 lights on 1 pole. Now, right by the book drop, they had moved that pole out, and we've asked them to move it back in towards the door. It was going to interfere with getting to the book drop. So that piece will be different than the drawing you see, but not by a few feet is all. There will be a light by the entrance exit to First North, and then decorative poles or decorative fixtures in the original library location facing First North. So we have 4 decorative fixtures, and the rest are parking lot shoebox fixtures, as they called them. Sort of very horizontal. I hope our goal is that they sort of blend in to the architecture of the new building. So the next step is it's gone out for bid. It was in the New Ulm Journal yesterday. It was in the Mankato Free Press today. We are going to have a walkthrough next Tuesday at 10 a.m. at the library. Alwood Zaba will be there, the engineer will be there, and we'll see who shows up. The engineer says nobody may show up. The bids are due in March, and we'll get them, he guesses, right before bids are due. We'll open them publicly here at City Hall, and then at your next meeting, you will have the opportunity to vote on who gets that bid. We're still looking at August and September for actual construction. Are there questions?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Number one, what is the approximate height of the poles? Do you have any idea yet?
Yes, 20 feet for the parking lot, except for the one that's right by the book drop bunker. Probably can't be that high because of the building.
Still should be enough light on the book drop, though?
Yes, because on the other side of the book drop is a street light
Oh,
that's
right there.
maintained by the public utilities.
Yep.
The antique lights are 12 feet.
And you will not know anything about dredging or tunneling or anything until you get the bids in, right?
Correct. Other questions? Thank you.
Move on to the Wanda Gog sculpture project update, if there is any.
I have heard that there will be a fundraiser at the end of this month, and you will all be receiving invitations to that. It will be at the Grand. I have not seen it yet, so stay tuned.
And then the Traverse de Sioux Library Cooperative update, Holly, ask Holly or Chris to.
I'll start. We had our first meeting with several new people last month, and I was very encouraged because immediately we started working as a group. In the past year, it was a very divided group. This year, it seemed very unified. And we've set up a task force to see what we can do about the backlog and the cataloging, and I'm going to be on that task force. So hopefully the news will get better as we go on. I'm really encouraged from previous times.
We have to make a motion to give you a big stick to take along?
No, I can handle that on my own.
I think she's doing that pretty well.
I just felt very good after that
It was a
last
very long
meeting.
meeting, as I understand.
It was a 4-hour meeting, so
But you saw some,
we saw some
Improvement.
change, yes.
Okay.
We did.
The directors met today, and I'm going to be on the cataloging task force as well. There are 4 public library folks, Renee Schneider, who's the assistant director at Blue Earth County, myself, Eva Gaden from Blue Earth Community, and Heidi Shute from Winnebago. So as soon as the new cataloging person gets on board, which is next week, we'll give her a week, a couple of days to get settled in before we schedule a meeting. So we have a new head of cataloging. They did hire an automation person to help us with Sierra. So that person will be starting in March. I did put a PowerPoint in your packet, but if it's okay, I'd like to show the public. I pulled this together based on some questions that have been coming up in the last couple of months, just to give you an idea of the symbiotic relationship between public libraries, and in particular our library and Traverse de Sioux. Every member library pays a fee, and a fee structure committee created the structure. Well, Larry was on the committee, so it was probably 5 years ago. It was during my time, so 5 or 6 years ago they created a structure. And we had a 1% increase from 2015 to 2016. So we're paying almost $27,000 for services. Traverse de Sioux, as a regional library cooperative, gets funding primarily from the state and then from the member library fees.
So we're gonna pay the 99 cents, they really couldn't round it up to 7.45?
Well, Reg did, but I wanted to give you, because if you do the math, you're gonna say that doesn't add up. Delivery fee is a straight fee based on the number of times a week you have delivery. So some folks have delivery twice a week. We get delivery Monday through Friday. Our automation fee includes that cataloging system, the Sierra. That's how you search for books, place books on hold. That's how we check out things to you. That's how we actually catalog the items as part of that system. And then staff support for that. This new automation person falls under that piece as well. Our cataloging fee, just over $8,900, and that's for 2016. I'm giving you 2015 numbers that we added almost 5,200 items to the catalog. Now that includes things that are already in the catalog. So we're not sending every item that we have over to Traverse de Sioux. We send over things that aren't already in the system. So we're sending unique items. So of all the items that we added, we did send 1,941 items to Traverse de Sioux for cataloging. And we have about 81,000 items in our collection. We had a huge weeding project about 4 or 5 years ago and dropped about 10,000 items out of our system. And weeding is an ongoing thing. Thank you, Dave. He's helping us weed. The cataloging fee is in part based on the number of items that you have. And so you want a clean collection of items that are being checked out all the time because you're charged for every item that you have. And an interlibrary loan fee, which is a base fee, and it's amazing that we pay $1,000 for the ILL system that we have. Tax dollars pay for a lot of it, supported through what's called Minitex. And so we get items from all over the state and we send our items to them as well. And then along with those, we really think of the core services as the automation system, cataloging our items because they do the staff at TDS is the one who physically adds them to the system. Interlibrary loan is very important, and the delivery. Those are the main functions that all of us are funding. But TDS does other things for us as well. They host meetings. They connect directors from around the state. In fact, Dale got me connected with some folks up in the Twin Cities to talk about Wi-Fi hotspots at their libraries. And that was just recently. TDS coordinates the Legacy program, provides honorariums for continuing education, and I've taken advantage of that on a number of occasions. They're managing our broadband connection. They file the E-rate paperwork, so we don't have to do that. I did that at my previous job. It's onerous. It's a lot of paperwork. And TDS advocates for library services by going to things such as Library Legislative Day. So that's a brief overview of that relationship we have with our regional system. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next would be the circulation statistics.
Just numbers for you. I don't have any comments. Would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
And then finally would be, or the next, and the action items, which would be pretty much a standard thing to, you see the item that's under discussion. I suspect it has little value. because it's outdated survey. But resolution number 2016-04, approving recommendation to dispose of surplus item. Recitals, the library replaced its file server, which is almost 6 years old, with a smaller network attached storage device to save all library-related electronic files. The file server was malfunctioning and was not wanted by the city's IT department. However, the Traverse des Sioux Tech Librarian would like to utilize it for parts. The library recommends removing and destroying the hard drives and giving what remains to TDS. City IT Manager Nate Barron has no objection to this. So this would be approved at this meeting. I look for a motion to approve this recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve the disposal.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? This is not, I mean, yeah, it's not worth anything.
So will city IT then take care of destroying the hard drive?
Actually, if I don't remove the hard drive, Mary will, and Jay drills it.
Okay.
So no, we don't even bring it over here.
Any other questions or discussion? Otherwise, I'll call the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. Carried. It's approved. The last item was, we added was regarding the bylaws. We had a question raised, why do we need a treasurer? And you've each been given a copy of the bylaws. It appears that we have the authority to change the bylaws at any regular meeting. There is, I noticed, a misspelling in the bylaws under the last one to change, unless I assume it's a misspelling, it doesn't make any sense. At a regular meeting of a special meeting, I assume it means or a special meeting.
Yes.
That would be logical anyway. We can remove or combine the secretary and treasurer's offices. We have to have 3 offices according to the city charter. It has to be a president or a chairman, a vice chairman, and a secretary.
And that's the single sheet you got is the city charter relative to the library board.
Yeah. My impression was no one has an objection. I think what we should do, though, as I read it, since there's a couple of things that we're not following, that perhaps we should rewrite it for next time and then present the revised proposal to the, for example, it says the secretary is responsible for taking minutes. We should probably add something, or someone she appoints. That, you know.
Sweet Mary.
There's one, or whoever appoints her. One other thing I hesitated to bring up, but I feel I was appointed by the mayor, but according to the bylaws, it's
You can't be.
that's what it says. So
Nobody told me.
I didn't tell you, I know that, but so I don't know what do we do. I have no idea what we do because according to the bylaws, that I'm not sure if you're illegal too or not.
No, I'm not illegal yet, because I finished out a term, then I served a term, then I took a break, then I came back. So
Okay.
this is my final.
Okay.
So I'm
Dave,
legal
I'd be
there.
happy to talk to the city manager and the mayor about that and get back to you.
I just don't want it to be, it's up to you people. I'm not lusting after this office, but I'm more than willing to serve. My only concern is that we don't, at some point, it doesn't become an issue from some angle. I can't see it happening, but you don't want it to be an issue either. So we'll turn it over to Chris for further.
You don't feel the power just rushing toward you, though?
No. Now, if this were Chicago, I shouldn't say that. So will that be agreeable that we'll have Chris and I can work on it just to revise it as the way we think it ought to be, and then we can bring it to the board for next time.
Then if you want to, after you talk and about your position there, if you want to make a change in that, go ahead too.
We want to do it what's for the best of the library board, of course.
I guess I'm wondering what your thoughts are. The board can eliminate the treasurer position, or you could combine it into a secretary-treasurer position. Knowing that, according to the charter, the city is taking care of all of the money.
Right.
Mhm.
Is there ever a time that anybody here is gonna be dealing anything with money?
It never has happened in my time.
And not while I've been on the board either.
I was just thinking though, for the sake of the future, you might say secretary treasurer.
Yeah.
That way, if
You
for
need
some
something.
reason down the line, they don't have to change it again.
Right.
Because
Yep.
treasurer wouldn't do anything anyway, but at least be combined into that one position then. And
Sounds like a
solve
good
that.
idea.
Sounds good.
Any other discussion for the good and benefit? Otherwise,
On the
it's for-
terminology though, in the bylaws, they talk about president, vice president, and in the charter though, it uses the terms chair, vice chair. I mean, are we considering that interchangeable, or should we, for commonality, just
well, we could
pick
check,
one term or, use the same terms as the charter?
yeah, we could do that.
I think that makes good sense.
We're gonna make
Probably a
changes.
good
Making
idea.
changes anyway.
Mhm.
That way everything would match. Any other discussion or suggestions, I should say? Otherwise, it's 4:32, and no further discussion. I'll adjourn the meeting.